consider this after 10 years also. And consider this after 10 years also. There are a lot of issues pending for the last 10 years. And why I mentioned 10 years is 10 years back in this very house, AP was divided into two states, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. And there was a clause in the AP Reorganization Act through which it was bifurcated that in the next 10 years, everything that is mentioned in the Act is going to be fulfilled, and the major partner in this is the central government, sir, the nodal person who has to fulfill these. And consider this after 10 years also. There are a lot of these issues. If you consider after 10 years.
Let us fulfill the oath of the Constitution by walking on our Kartavya Path in this Mahayagna of nation building. Honorable Chairperson, sir, as a responsible public representative, as a member of this opposition to whom this house belongs, I am walking on my Kartavya Path by having the courage, in spite of all of you shouting, to speak about what I'm going to speak. Every word I utter is going to be an oblation, an offering of truth into my Mahayagna of nation building. I want to talk about the most famous person in India today. Unfortunately for this house, it is not the Honorable Prime Minister. It is a man whose name starts with an A and ends with an I. And no, it is not Advani. For the purposes of this speech, let me just call him Mr. A and his group, the A Company. I want to start off by saying, as an ex-investment banker, I want companies to thrive. But I want honest, hard-working Indian companies to strive and not trapeze artists, as an MP colleague of mine likes to say. The chair always asks me not to get angry. I will not be angry for what I have to say. I will only say that we've all been fooled. I brought this topi with me.
I will just remind you. Your party has only 12 minutes.
Yes,
12
sir.
minutes for you. Confine.
I will finish in 12 minutes, sir.
आप बैठिए.
I have brought this topi
आप बैठ जाइए.
with me.
बैठ जाइए. आप डिस्टर्ब मत करिए, बैठ जाइए.
I have 12 minutes, sir. Please let me finish in 12 minutes. The chair always asks me not to get angry. I will not be angry for what I have to say. I will only say that we've only been fooled. I have brought this topi with me because this man has topi pen out this wonderful nation. I will start with wearing this topi. I have some extra for others who feel the same.
Please don't do that.
I want to summarize this story by simply saying a company who in infrastructure where you have to win most things by tender or have to get a regulated return. I want to summarize this story by simply saying a company who's in infrastructure where you have to win most things by tender or have to get a regulated return cannot have high multiples when it is growing with debt. Most infrastructure companies make a 5 to 15% return if they're lucky and they get everything right. Once an infra is built, it is usually sold to pension funds when the infra player keeps a small portion as an operator of the asset. The multiples at which this A company is trading was absolutely outrageous. Even Google, Amazon, and Microsoft don't trade at such multiples. Ultimately, markets are and should be about fundamentals. I want to ask all of you, when a Russian company was taking over an oil refinery from an Indian business, it was not an attack on India. When Mumbai's electricity was taken over with funds from Qatar, it was not an attack on India. The pride of India lies not in the wealth of one individual. The pride of India lies in the robustness of its institutional structures. I don't want to get into a Wall Street short sellers allegations. I don't want to get into a Wall Street short sellers allegations. I want answers to what I've asked. Sir, Mr. Chairperson, sir, are you going to do your job? And please ask the honorable gentleman to sit down. Are you going to do your job, sir, and ask this honorable gentleman to sit down?
I'll tell the House.
Sir, I think it is within the scope of your duty to either ask the gentleman to speak down or throw him out with the marshals.
Honorable member, आप अगर इसी तरह डिस्टर्ब करते रहे, आपका नामित किया जाएगा.
I do not want.
आपको नामित किया जाएगा. बार-बार इस तरह डिस्टर्ब मत करिए.
Sir, if he doesn't understand English,
किसी और को इस तरह डिस्टर्ब करने की हक आपके नहीं है.
the pride of India.
आपका नामित किया जाएगा. I warn you.
I
Let the other members from the ruling party are aware and make him aware. This is not the way you have to behave inside the house.
Either throw him out or give me extra time.
This is not the way.
Okay.
You cannot disturb like this. No, I'm not disturbing. You are disturbing the house. You are disturbing the house.
The pride.
आप disturbing the house. आपका समय नहीं है. आपका नाम बुलाया नहीं गया. बार-बार क्यों खड़े हो तो आप? और बैठे-बैठे भी बात करते रहते हो.
Sir, the pride of India is not the wealth of one individual. The pride of India lies in the robustness of its institutional structures. I don't want to get into a Wall Street short sellers allegations. That's not my job. I want answers to what I had asked in this parliament, what I have raised over and over again since 2019 in this house, in my repeated letters on record to the SEBI, to the CVC, to the DRI, the CBDT and the Finance Ministry. It is a shame for us, it is a shame for our investigative agencies that these allegations against the A company were only listened to when global entities asked these questions. When I stood here and asked this question, the global world didn't believe us. Honorable Prime Minister, this man, Mr. A, has topi penawed you. He travels with you on your delegations. He meets heads of states on visits to India. He portrays that India is the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister is him. He makes it appear to the world that he is the remote control behind the Prime Minister, and by obliging him, will be obliging the Prime Minister. You talk about elimination of telephone banking to PSUs and to LIC. Let me tell you that he gives the impression that doing things for him will put them in yours and in the Home Minister's good books.
Honorable Member.
Honorable Home Minister.
Honorable Member, you still have that on your table, which I had said that it should
What,
not
sir?
be.
Take the top.
Oh, okay, sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
You should not have
Yeah,
bought it
Honorable
inside
Home
the House.
Minister, he has topi penawed you. He has had the same shareholder for decades, yet his company says, we are not legally obligated to tell us who it is. Yet he's taking security clearance for ports and airports from the Ministry of Home Affairs. His group companies have amassed nearly 42,000 crores in foreign portfolio investments from 6 Mauritius-based funds. These funds have commonalities like common address, common company secretary, common directors. There is an urgent need to investigate these funds. I brought this up in this house since 2019. In addition, there are 40 shell companies linked to the promoter who have collectively moved billions of dollars into Indian companies of this favorite group. No disclosure of related party transactions have been made till date. There are media reports that funding into these companies is managed by a Chinese national, Chao Chu-ling. There are reports that it's managed by his brother, artificially pumping up valuations by using pump and dump. His net worth has moved from 9 billion in 2020 to 90 billion in 2022, all in the anticipation of a follow-on public offering, an FPO. That was to be his moment of crowning glory. Madam Finance Minister, he has topi penawed you. When your ministry in Parliament tells me that an investigation by the SEBI is ongoing, this company puts out a statement saying that they have been exonerated by the highest court of the land. Which court? Which nation? He also says his brother has no formal designation within the group, so any transactions with his brother or entities controlled by him need not be disclosed as related party transactions. Why has SEBI been a silent operator? Why would they permit a 20,000 crore FPO without completing an investigation report? Why didn't SEBI ask whether bankers had signed off on valuation? How is Mr. A's son's father-in-law allowed to be on the SEBI Committee on Insider Trading and Corporate Governance? How? Shame.